Hey guys, today I'm going to show you all of the mods that I play with, and I'm going to speed through it as fast as I can so you can get 100 mods as fast as possible. There'll also be a link in the description to a collection on Steam where you can add all of these mods automatically to your own mod list, or you can go through and pick and choose the ones that you like them sound of the most, but it will all be in that list, so you'll be able to have access to them as easy as possible. And just so you know, I'm going to also very briefly describe why I have the mod downloaded, or like why it's a good mod to maybe play around with. One last thing before we get started, this is the mod manager. I will eventually get to that mod, but I've moved all of the mods to the left hand side of the screen so I can just click the down arrow to continue going through them. We're going to go in alphabetical order. Let's go. Advanced Parker. This adds 5 new types of Parker to the game. It's really good if you're playing in a cold map. Allow tool adds an additional thing to your architect orders menu where you can basically get a couple of extra tools that are useful. Next one, Android tiers. This just adds some Android additional stuff that you have to have. Like, I'll just quickly show you. You have to have a bunch of other mods downloaded to get it to work. It's because I was trying to do a Radamant style Android playthrough at one point in the past. He recently played an Android playthrough and I kind of copied his mods and gave it a go, and it was really good fun. Okay, animals logic. It just adds some cool additional animal logic to the game. Better pawn control just allows you to control your pawns in even more detail. Adds like some extra stuff to some menus. Bionic icons. It's a nice aesthetic mod that means it's easier to see what sort of your bionics look like. The little icons you can see on the right hand side of the screen. It's really nice. Blueprints. A super nice quality of life mod. If I end up doing another quality of life mods video like I did, and you can see that up in the eye in the top right corner, this will definitely be on the next one. This basically allows you to create a blueprint that you can complete, copy and paste over and over and over. So if you have a bedroom, say that you want to make like 7 more times, you can just kind of copy the bedroom, paste. It's really useful. Bulk mills. It's kind of not really needed anymore because you can create bulk mills already with the 4 times simple mills, etc. But I believe this adds an additional functionality. Color-coded mood bar. I love this mod, and I mentioned it in my quality of life mod list. Yeah, it gives you lots of different colors to depending on the mood of the colonist. It's much easier than seeing the bars and having to go into the bio. You can very quickly see who's in a bad mood. Colony manager gives you a bunch of other colony manager things. You can automate a bunch of things like forestry and stuff around your base, making sure that trees that are nearby are being cut down, making sure you have a certain amount of certain things. It's just like another menu. I don't always play with this one because I was getting frustrated with having too many menus at one point, so it's kind of like if I think I will need it a lot for a run type mod, then I will use it. Common sense makes your colonists a little less stupid. Defensive positions. You can set up a defensive position such that when you go into when you draft your colonists, you can tell them to go to the defensive positions and they can just set up very quickly. Doormat basically means when your colonist walks over it, they don't track filth into rooms. It helps with keeping your base cleaner, especially if you've got colonists going in and out of outdoors quite often. Dubs Bad Hygiene adds a whole new bunch of stuff to the game. Basically, it adds like needing to use the bathroom, needing to keep yourself clean. You can even add thirst to the game. It adds wells, hot tubs, swimming pools, like everything you can think of to do with keeping hygiene as just a whole new meter, and they get upset when they're not in good hygiene and stuff. So it's really good. It expands the game quite considerably. Just be aware that it does add an additional layer of complexity to the game. Dubs mid menus just makes your menus a little bit compact and better looking. Definitely helps for when you're like me and you have too many mod menus downloaded already. Dubs Rimatomics adds nuclear weapons, nuclear power, and energy weapons. Just I would FYI look at the wiki before you play with this because it works a little differently to how you would expect for researching different parts of the nuclear power. Really good mod. Expands the game quite a lot, especially for the later game. Easy Speedup allows you to go to 4 times speed. EDB Prepare Carefully allows you to customize any of your colonists. This basically means that you can set up a run of any style that you like, and you don't have to randomize colonists forever and ever. Say you want to get like everyone with cannibal, you can just use this to set it up. Yeah, it's a great mod. You can also tick a little tick box in the top right corner that allows you to have points, which means that you can only spend so many points so you don't have an overpowered colony, or you can turn that off and just have the craziest overpowered colony. But trust me, the storyteller, unless you're playing on like peaceful, will make you pay for that. Enabled oversized weapons. This was because I was combining a couple of Android mods and it required it. I can't even remember why, but it basically just makes the weapons larger, make the game take draw size and offsets into account when rendering carried equipment. Basically means you can combine certain visual mods, I believe, slightly more easily. Everybody gets one, just a simple logic mod that I don't use so much anymore, but it's handy for creating some simple logic and making sure everyone gets a particular one of something. Expanded prosthetics. This adds a ton of different prosthetics to the game, adds another load of research to the game for different levels of prosthetics. Basically a ton of other prosthetics in the game. Really fun to play with, especially if you're doing a transhumanist run on like ideologies. Filth vanishes in rain and time. Pretty self-explanatory. When it rains or there's a certain number of days since the filth appeared, it will go away. This will stop your map from just becoming a complete and utter bloodbath, literally. Food alert. Oh, this was because back in like 1.1 when I was playing, the food alert would come up and it would say, oh, you've got 3.2 days left of food with your colonists, you should maybe find some more food. And I kind of like knowing how many days of food I had, so I wanted it to continue, so I downloaded this mod. I don't actually use it that much anymore because I don't care so much, but it is kind of fun for that aspect. Grazing Lands just makes your animals, when they're grazing, it makes a little bit more sense. It doesn't just like destroy the grass and things. It does make ranching a smidgy easier as well, so kind of good if you're doing like a ranching run. Harmony, not really a mod, it's a code library. Most of your mods won't be able to run unless you have Harmony. Actually, quite a lot of mods won't be able to run without Harmony, so yeah, definitely you're going to need this one. Heat map, it's just an overlay, like your fertility overlay, only this one, the blue means it's freezing, and the red means it's hot, and green means it's pretty standard temperature. You can also get it with the actual numbers overlaid over the top when you click onto the menu. Yeah, very, very handy. Hospitality, this adds a whole hospitality aspect to the game where you get visitors come and stay in guest beds. You can charge them silver for them staying. I believe there is also like a whole trading aspect to it as well. But yeah, brilliant mod. I would recommend when you're first playing with it just to kind of play with it and a few vanilla type mods, quality of life mods. Hugslib, another code library exactly like Harmony, only I believe slightly less used, especially since 1.3. Humanoid alien races, rules required for me to be able to use androids. I haven't used it so much, but it basically adds the ability to add alien races. Really nice. Interaction bubbles, this just means you can see what your colonists are saying to one another. It's kind of amusing and adds a little bit of fun to when they're just like sat around the table doing nothing. Level up, it makes a little ping noise when your colonists level up. It's kind of nice. It displays a message, plays animation, and plays sound. Medical tab is basically like numbers medical tab, only a little bit more on crack. It's just next level medical stuff. Mod manager, this is exactly what you're looking at right now. It allows you to manage your mods more easily. Definitely recommended, especially if you're going to use anything more than like 10-15 mods, or you just generally like downloading tons of different mods and playing around with them like I do. More planning 1.3 is just a bunch of different planning abilities in different colors. Just nice to be able to add some additional depth to your planning. Numbers, it's the one I mentioned just a minute ago. It's a really, really, really good menu for getting up like custom information. You can set it up for colonists, whoever's raiding your enemies, corpses, literally anything on the map. You can get a bunch of information about what about that particular item on the map. Really, really useful. You can customize it, you can add presets, you can use the current presets. Love it, brilliant. Download it. Pick up and haul, basically instead of your colonists running across the map to collect 3 steel because they need to finish off a steel item, they'll run across, grab all of the steel that they can carry both in their hands and also in their inventory. It does make that more efficient and stops you from having to use the caravanning trick, if you know about that, over and over. Pokeworld literally adds Pokemon to the game. It is really incredible, like biome based. You can go and capture them from other ones and bring them back and train, like it's really fun. Not something I recommend combining with too many other mods. Quality builder, another amazing quality of life mod, allows you to select the quality of the item you want to be built. So if you want it to be excellent, your best constructor will come along and build it until it gets to excellent, otherwise it will deconstruct builds over and over and over. Quarry, basically like deep drilling, but in the early game you can just mine in a single spot and you get a chance of anywhere from like component all the way to like steel to just junk. Literally you get dirt up here. Yeah, it's kind of nice. You can balance it yourself by setting all the settings to make things really, really difficult, really, really easy to find. Just another way to get some more resources out of your map without having to get crazy late game stuff or trading all the time. Replace stuff, super nice quality of life mod again. Basically allows you to replace anything with the different material version of itself, or even not even a different material version. Literally you could put a bed across a wall and it would remove that wall and replace it with a bed and stuff. It's what it says it does. Rimefeller, it's kind of like Rimatomics, only it's for felling, fellering. You basically pump oil out of the ground. There's different types of oils. It can do different types of things, such as creating plastics and composites and napalm and more chem fuel and just powering your base. It can do a bunch of cool stuff. Really, really fun mod. Rim Fridge adds fridge to the game. You can have a fridge in or freezer in your actual dining room, so your colonists don't have to walk into the freezer and let all that nice cold air out. RimHud, when you click on your colonist, this adds a bunch of cool information in a little HUD in the bottom left corner instead of their usual one with the menu not really showing you very much. This shows you a bunch more information. RocketMan is an awesome efficiency mod that gives you anywhere up to around 500 ticks per second additional efficiency from the game, so when you're getting into the late game and things are starting to stutter and lag, it definitely helps a lot. Fuse, this is what I consider a lazy man mod. It just allows you to add a circuit breaker and a few other different functionalities to your power grid. It means that when you get a zzzt, you don't lose all of your battery power. Salted meat, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can salt meats. Scattered stones, this changes the look of the stones on the map, the chunks, such that they don't all look the same, makes the map a little bit more interesting to look at. Shiny androids is another aesthetic mod for androids, again for my Android playthrough that I used. Show draftees weapons. When your draftees are drafted, e.g. they're ready to fight, it will show you what weapon they have so you can organize them better. I use it quite a lot. Simple sidearms, you can switch weapons basically. So say you want them to shoot and then when they're about to be melee attack, switch the melee, makes them more effective in a melee fight. Smart medicine makes medicine a little bit smarter. Actually, a few of the aspects of this mod have actually already been added to the base game, but there is still a couple of other bits. Smarter construction basically stops your colonists from doing exactly what you can see on the picture on the right hand side, getting them trapped in. It just makes them a bit smarter. Snap out of it, basically you can get one of your other colonists to make a mental broken colonist, snap them out of it by going over and giving them a slap or calming them down or whatever. Stack XXL allows you to have fully customizable stack sizes. You can increase your stack size. Utility column, instead of just a column doing nothing, it can light, freeze, heat, or even act as a security method. Vanilla expanded achievements. So I have a ton of vanilla expanded stuff, so I'll be as quick as I can on them. Basically, they add something to the vanilla version of the game, but it's not too crazy overpowered. It like very well balanced, just adds more stuff to the game. They are awesome. And this one is just achievements, so when you do certain things, you get a little achievement popped up. Okay, I have a ton of vanilla animals expanded stuff, so I will just say the biome, and you can see what animals they add. But yeah, Australia, boreal forest, you get more animals, cats and dogs, more different types of cats and dogs. I really love this one. It's really fun. Caves, more animals in caves. Deserts, endangered. This is kind of like a Thrumbo thing where you may get endangered species wander onto your map tile depending on your map tile type, and you can kind of like kill and eat exotic meat if you're that way inclined. There's extreme desert, there's ice sheet, there's temperate forest, which I love as well because of the little hedgehogs. They're very cute. Tropical rainforest, tropical swamp, tundra, and then we're on to vanilla apparel expanded. This adds a bunch of new apparel, including ones that do things like work speed, so you can get chef uniforms or doctor scrubs that will increase how fast you move, and also like gas masks to protect you from certain toxicity. It's really quite nice little expansion on the different apparel. You can have the vanilla apparel expanded accessories, which also kind of do the same thing. They'll increase like work speed and productivity depending on the type of thing they are. It's like a belt, so I believe you can't wear a shield belt at the same time, but it's kind of like if you're constructor, you want to give them like a tool belt to make them construct faster. Vanilla armors expanded, more armors, including ones that include shield belts built into them, and they're super complex, and also some earlier game ones. It just adds more armor. Books expanded. You can basically get your smart colonists to write books for your dumb colonists to read. It does require resources. It does take time, so it's not like super overpowered or anything crazy. It just means you can spread around your knowledge a little bit more. Vanilla brewing expanded allows you to brew more spirits and beers and all sorts, including coffees and teas, which there is also another coffee and tea module, which I think just adds even more coffees and teas to it. And then there's vanilla cooking expanded, which adds things like gourmet meals. You can also get dessert. And then there's also the stews module where you can make stews. Vanilla events expanded is amazing. Definitely check this one out, especially if you're getting kind of like a little bored with the base game. The events expanded just expands events. There's really crazy hard ones added, even more difficult ones. There are ones with a sort of more neutral effect. This mod just means that ideology works better with the other vanilla expanded stuff. This is the same but for royalty, so when you have the expansions, definitely get these. Vanilla expanded framework, you need this. This is kind of like Harmony, but just purely for the vanilla expanded stuff. Vanilla fishing allows you to do fishing. Vanilla furniture expanded core adds things like ergonomic chairs, and it just adds a bunch of furniture that adds to the game. You have to research them. More artwork types, more farming sort of abilities. You can build certain farming things that just make farming better. So medical furniture, more medical furniture. Power module, more power stuff, including like late game solar panels that are more efficient and better. And production module, which again adds like tool cabinets, adds a bunch of different cabinets that you can use for all the different things. Security module adds more security stuff, 27 new defensive structures. Really fun, the vanilla expanded stuff. Vanilla genetics expanded is kind of like a standalone thing in its own right. Basically, you can create like hybrid creatures. Okay, this just adds more hats and rags to ideologies. This just adds icons and symbols to ideologies. This adds more relics and artifacts to ideologies. Vanilla plants expanded adds more plants to the game, so you can grow more and different stuff. Succulent module, they just look cool, so I added them as well. Vanilla textures expanded adds better some design changes to the game, just makes it look a little bit cooler in some places. Vanilla traits expanded is awesome. It basically just adds a bunch of traits. The ones I can think off the top of my head are like dog lover, cat lover, where like if you've got dogs and cats around, they're happier. There's also like big boned, which means whenever they sit in a chair, there's like a percentage chance they break it, and a ton of others. Vanilla weapons expanded, more weapons. This adds coil guns, this adds grenades, this adds heavies, this adds lasers, wall light, another sort of quality of life one. You can, instead of having lights take up a space, you can put them on the wall. Work tab adds another menu for work tab, kind of like automating certain things. And last but not least, Yayo's animation. This is really fun little mod that Yayo made, where basically your colonists have animations for everything they do. It's just fun to like literally watch. That was my, I don't know, 100 and whatever mods, and I don't know how quickly I managed to do that in, but hopefully this didn't take too long, and hopefully in the power of editing I can reduce this into a slightly more reasonably length video. But thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.